Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Circling Seattle Sports. We are bringing back an old weekly show that we used to do. I have not done an episode of this since, I think from the YouTube channel, it said August. So, same month of 2022. So, it's been 3 years since we've done an episode of this. We're bringing back Woof Wednesdays. I wanted to get this episode up sooner, not going to happen. So it's not going to technically come out on Wednesday. This is going to come out on Saturday, the day Husky football plays Colorado State. Husky volleyball plays Colorado State. Husky football is at home. Husky volleyball is on the road in Colorado. So, yeah, we're bringing back our University of Washington show. You know, I, you know, there are accounts, outlets, websites that claim to be University of Washington athletics, and really are all they are is football and men's basketball, and occasionally one of the other programs if they're doing really well or they have a big story. Okay, um, that's not how it should be. And that's not how we're going to run it. It's not how we have it. That's not how we've run things in the past. So, the goal is to have this show encompass baseball, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, football, uh, women's tennis. Probably we'll do men's tennis, but CSS has covered a few women's tennis events this past year. Volleyball, beach volleyball, and the women's club hockey team that plays up at KCI. If you know Circling Seattle Sports, you know that we, broadcast and stream the women's hockey games up at the American Community Iceplex. So we streamed every home game this past year. So yeah, man, just trying to get that up and running. Circling Seattle Sports as I've grown it. I've kind of gone backwards. I've gone from the professional sports, the minor leagues, / semi-pro, and now getting back into the college sports coverage. I'm not going to tell you I'm an expert on any of this, especially this current sort of duration of college athletics. There's a lot to go on here. I don't fully understand recruiting and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot new with NIL, so we'll work on it. I'm not going to tell you I'm an expert right away, but the goal is to, provide this content, provide this coverage, to do it for more than the two programs that get all the shine. So, um, there's a little bit going on here. The fall schedules are getting going. There's about four programs really that are starting. Football, by the time this episode comes out, it's playing today. Women's soccer's really led the way and they started things off. Men's soccer's going as well. And then volleyball played their first match last night by the time you're seeing this Friday. So we'll go with football first since there's a lot of different things here. With stuff like what's new at Husky Stadium. Look at that. Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium. Um, just a few highlights we'll look at. There's new food offerings for you if you're into that kind of thing. Loaded mac and cheese with house-made toppings at section 127, 330. Monster nachos with pulled pork. 101, 132, 327. Street tacos, 119, 328. Foot long hot dog at 110. They're expanding their drink market locations, which is interesting. Um, yeah, some stuff on the new tickets. Tap and go tickets, no barcodes, no brightness, instant contactless entry. They're trying to promote faster lines and less hassle, so that's nice. Um, oh yeah, they're trying to do more stuff for the dog walk. Inflatable entryway, DJ and giveaways highlight the return of the dog walk. So that's cool. Giveaways, all home games will be the football schedule posters, nothing for Colorado State, lots of stuff for Ohio State. 55,000 pom-poms, 5,000 bucket hats, courtesy of Pepsi, only for the dog pack. Also only for the dog pack, 5,000 shirts, courtesy of the American Campus Communities. And then versus Illinois at home, Illinois is gonna have a good team. 10,000 UW beanies, courtesy of BECU, of course. They always do those seemingly. Um, Mm-mm. Oh yeah, during all home games, if the opposing team misses a field goal, everyone in attendance will receive a free chicken sandwich via Chick-fil-A. Not so stoked on the Chick-fil-A part, but hey, what are you gonna do? During the Rutgers game, there's gonna be a halftime drone show, so I guess that'll be cool. Um, Presented by Planet Fitness. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, this game to open up the season for Washington, 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. First ever meeting for the program with Colorado State, Big Ten Network, second season under Jed Fish. It's been interesting. I've been at a few of the things this fall with football. They had this fall media day to open up those practices. Was cool to talk with some of the coordinators, some of the coaches, some of the players. Got audio from a few different players. It was interesting. It was fascinating to, when the offensive players got brought in because they did the coaches, and then offensive players and defensive players. Ramon Williams and Denzel Boston were left alone in the corner. Guys eventually made their way to him, but I was like, hey, this is your quarterback. This is your star wideout. So, but no, that was cool. It's cool to talk to different guys. I was a no day guy, so talking to Taylor Mays was really cool. Um, yeah, it's cool to hear these guys explain football and try to get a different understanding of what they were doing, what their jobs are, so on and so forth. Um, Having that, Jed Fish had a few press conferences this past week in the team room. I have a few of my notes from that. Yeah, I can go back to that. Oh, and I should pull up the depth chart too. It'll be interesting to see how the depth chart changes throughout the course of the season. But I know, there's so much excitement to see who's starting, who wins, excuse me, their respective position battles, so on and so forth. Um, and it's just week one. So, so much will change. Unfortunately, injuries are part of every season. So here we go. Let's get back to what I posted that day from that. Um, Here we go. Um, Oh yeah, I did fish that. Everyone who hasn't had season-ending surgery should be available for Washington against Colorado State. Doesn't mean that they'll play, but they will be available, which is nice to hear. Um, Talked a bit a little bit. Obviously, there's so much attention being paid on the trenches, right? The offensive line. Talked about the position battle with John Mills and Paki Finau. Um, and that'll be something to watch throughout the course of the year, right? What line sticks, because I'm always of the mindset of, hey, if an offensive line's going to be successful, it's got to stay together and gel. And we'll see how the offensive line changes, if at all, through the course of the year. Um, Fish did say that Mills and Fino will both play in this Colorado State. Yes, Colorado State game. Raiden Vinesbright will be a starter for Washington at the wide receiver position. Something he earned through practice, through reps, through drills, so on and so forth. Fish really hammered that part home that he earned this sort of thing. Um, did say that a lot of wideouts were going to get some playing time against Colorado State behind Denzel Boston. Sounds like Denzel Boston, Raiden Vinesbright, though will be near the top of the depth chart. I will go and get the depth chart again. Here we are. Yep, there we go. Here we go. Um, Open this up. Scroll down to the depth chart. Yeah, at left tackle, Carver Willis, left guard, John Mills or Paki Finau, center Landon Hatchett, right guard, Gieran Hatchett. Cool to have the Hatchett brothers next to each other. That will be really cool. Right tackle, Drew as a party. Then we get down to the tight ends. Decker DeGraff and Quentin Moore return. Decker was a cool kid to talk to. He was a guy that I went and made sure to talk to just because he was fun to watch last year in his freshman season. Going to start as a freshman, now as a sophomore at 6'3", 245. Obviously, Damon Williams Jr. at quarterback, Jonah Coleman with Adam Muhammad behind it. Really sounds like it's going to be obviously a lot of Jonah Coleman, but then Adam Muhammad doesn't seem like we're going to get too much from the backfield besides those two, but obviously a lot can change. Denzel Boston as your top receiver, then Amari Evans, the transfer from Penn State, or Raiden Vinesbright, but did sound like Vines Bright had the upper hand there, and it seems like, we will see everybody else behind it. Fish kind of said that he went and listed a bunch of the wide receivers after Vines Bright, Evans, Rashid Williams, Desmond Roebuck. Did mention Desmond Roebuck a few times, so I'm interested to see how he kind of shines out. Um, and Audric Harris on the defensive side of the ball. Zach Durfee, obviously, that's been a big talking point is Zach Durfee finally getting him healthy, being able to play after, the controversy not being able to play. Isaiah Ward is listed as one of the other potential edges. Um, kind of fun looking down the depth chart. Interesting to see the secondary because you look at the corners, you see the 2-6-4 corners and Ephesians Presock, and Takario Davis, of course. Then the back end, seeing the safeties and Alex McLaughlin and McKeel Esteen. So really fascinated to see how that goes. Really interested to see Rashawn Clark. He's listed as the backup to Leroy Bryan in the nickel. So really fascinated by that. And then Buda Alukta from Washington State with the Cougars transferring in as a starting linebacker now. So that's cool to see as well. Um, Grady Gross continues to take the field goals and the point after attempts. But the kickoffs is the Spokane, Washington kid, Ethan McCluskey. I believe I'm saying that right. Um, Interesting to see that, and then they've got the Australian punter and Luke Dune. Denzel Boston will return punts. Then Adam Mohammed and Jordan Washington. Jordan Washington, one of the other running backs. I don't imagine we'll see a ton of time from him out of the backfield, but again, long season, who knows? Um, those two will return kickoffs. So it will be interesting to see that. That is the depth chart for the Huskies going into this game against Colorado State. What other notes did I have here? Probably we'll see a lot of five down fronts defensively from Ron Walters' defense. He did that a lot previously, and it sounded like Fish basically was like, "Yeah, we will probably do a lot more of that. Not more, a lot more. Do a lot of that." Um, it was interesting hearing him talk about how different this week one is compared to last year's week one. Obviously, with so many different moving parts, that makes sense. Uh, Fish was asked if he ever thought he'd turn over play calling duties, and he said, I highly doubt it. For 13 years, I've called plays. It's like 13,000 plays plus every play you call in practice. It's hard to give that to someone because you learn from experience. That part made sense to me. I thought, that checked out, and that was pretty uh, understandable the way he explained it. So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see Washington get going here. The first of a few games at home to begin the year. Trying to improve off of the 6-7 record last year. Colorado State went 8-5 last year. Uh, had a trip to the Arizona Bowl. So Washington will look to start the season off the right way. They'll host UC Davis next week, another first time matchup. Washington is trying to continue their streak of 20 consecutive home wins, the longest home win streak in modern school history. The longest ever home winning streak was 45 games from 1908 to 1917, which is pretty remarkable. So, we'll see uh, how things are going. The end of the day, I do think it'll be a better year for the Huskies football team. Last year they had the opening Husky roster that didn't include a single offensive lineman who'd ever started a game for Washington. Obviously, not the case this year. The game will be on the Big Ten Network with Mark Followill, Lincoln Kennedy, and Alyssa Charlton calling the action. So that'll be cool. The Huskies are 99, 29, and 5 in home openers. Whether it's the first game of the season or not. What else do we got here? What do we have here? See if we can look at anything, other notes for you. Not really. Okay. Yeah. So we will move over here to the women's soccer team, which I've seen a little bit more of, was out at the season opener against Oregon State, and the other home game, Long Beach State Huskies, had a 3-game homestand to begin the 2025 season. Take you through some of the newcomers from this class. I talked to head coach Nicole Van Dyke ahead of the season starting. It's been really fun to be around the women's soccer program. The last few years, I've known Coach Van Dyke for a little bit, dating back to my interview with um, Olivia Sakani. You know, Coach Raphael Cox, Coach Schmidt, have been really nice to me. Obviously, in addition to Coach Van Dyke. I'm just really glad to, be out there and be covering the program on a more consistent basis. You know, that goes back to the whole thing of wanting to cover these programs in addition, not in addition, outside of just the football team and the men's basketball team. So, some high school some mixtures here. I wrote about this in my season preview for Washington. A mixture of bringing in some transfers. Um, there's a lot of experience and talent all over. Vanessa Aguilar, uh, out of California, sort of the attacking player, three-star prospect. We had talked through our drawer soccer. Some time with the Mexican U17 national team, pretty cool. Helped Mexico finish to a runner-up in the 2024 CONCACAF Championships, which is cool, scoring the winning goal in the semifinal to secure a spot in the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup. So cool on there. Laura Satina, who has been a pretty steady player for Washington, got the start in their most recent match against Seattle U. Yep, Seattle U. I'll talk about those matches in a second. Was previously a senior at UMass Lowell. Spent a few years there. Played 2 years at NJCAA powerhouse Eastern Florida State College. Has scored 38 goals in 4 years with Spanish club Victoria CF. Helped the club win a league title and promotion to Spain's second division as a high school senior, which is pretty remarkable. Talk about the experience that I mentioned, right? Another attacking player um, from Spain is Laura. Go over to Angelica Chu, another attacking player out of California, three-star prospect. Some leadership here, selected as a team captain in her senior season. Um, Played for Bay Area Surf in the ECNL. Caddy Doran. Caddy Doran's fun. Goalkeeper out of Wales. Don't really love the club, but cool to hear the experience. Played with Liverpool and Liverpool system. Signed dual registration, allowing her to play for both Liverpool Feds and Liverpool FC's U21 team during the season, which is pretty remarkable. Made 12 appearances for Liverpool Feds during the 2024-25 campaign, helping the club to a sixth place finish in the FA National League North table. Has received 9 caps in the Wales youth national team system, 4 with the U19 team, 1 with the U17, and 4 with the U16 team. So pretty cool there. Julia Hush, defender, go back to the defenders from Germany. Uh, Again, the experience, remembering this now from writing it, um, fascinating experience. UNC Asheville, and Bayer Leverkusen. Junior year, um, last year with UNC Asheville, started all 17 matches on the back line, helped the Bulldogs reach the Big South tournament, added 3 assists. Um, Let me think here. International, yeah, competed for with Bayer 04 Leverkusen's under 23 team in Germany's third tier, named the club's captain for the 22-23 season, trained with Leverkusen's senior team on numerous occasions, so that's pretty cool. Malin Montoya has been out there a good amount as well. Another attacking player out of California, three-star prospect, named T captain as a senior. Competed, I don't know why I keep saying that, for Pleasanton Rage '07 ECNL. Mary Cam Newton. I'm very excited about Mary Cam Newton. Um, Pretty remarkable. Her stats in high school were pretty remarkable. Coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, racked up more than 200 points during her high school career. She was a finalist for the 2025 Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia. She garnered some 2025 United Soccer Coaches All Atlantic region honors, named MVP of the 2025 state championship game. She helped lead her school, the Lovett School, to 4 consecutive region championships. Um, yeah, pretty remarkable. She showed great speed, some great skill on the ball. I am really excited to see how she's able to continue to develop. So Anouk Westphal, continuing on, another defender from Germany. some time with the German youth national team. Called up to the German U16 national team back in 21, competed in German in the 17 national team training camp in 22, also competed in the UEFA development tournament in 2022. Um, competed with Hertha BSC. Don't know where this club is. We're gonna Google this. Hertha BSC. Oh, um, interesting. Excuse me. In the second Bundesliga. Uh, interesting. To the second tier of German football. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Westfalen action in 14 matches of Hertha BSC during the 2024-25 Regionalliga Nordest first half. Um, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I was really interested to see the different variety of experience. I'm sorry if I butchered any of the names there. I don't have my notes on hand with me right now for the names. Um, just interesting to see the sort of wealth of experience that Washington will have, in terms of the newbies. They've already returned a good class, so I'm really excited to see that. It's been interesting with Washington. They started off the season against Oregon State 1-1. This was a match they should have won. All didn't really go in their favor. Kelsey Branson gets the opening goal. Nice assist on the corner from Samia Shell. Branson starts her senior season off well with the assist from Shell in the 31st minute. 67th, Nathalie Lewis finally breaks through. Lewis had been going on a few different runs. And she finally broke through in the 68th minute. The second half, Washington was the better team. They got the better chances. They got more of the chances. Goalkeeper for Oregon State, Maya Sanchez, just made some great saves. Uh, um, and I think Washington hit the woodwork three times, at least three times in that one. So they split the points. After the match, Coach Van Dyke basically told us, "Hey, we'll look at some things defensively." Also felt like we should have walked away with a better result. Was kind of the gist of it. Then a few days later, against Idaho, they smashed Idaho by a score of 4-1, 4-0. Sorry, clean sheet for Tanner Ijems. Don't want to take that away from Tanner. Samia Shell gets on the scoreboard. Jaden Holden Reed gets on the scoreboard with the assist from Alex Buck. Samia Shell gets the brace in the 56th minute with the another assist to Jaden Holden, not another, with the assist to Jaden Holden Reed. And then Avery Nguyen, who had played for the UW women's soccer club team, gets her first goal with this program. So that was pretty cool in the 68th minute. Nice. Take care of business, get your first win of the season. They continued it a few days later. I was at this game against Long Beach State with a final score of 3-0. This is going to be the cover of the episode. Goal in the 12th minute for Jaden Holden Reed. Continues her really hot, uh, you know, stretch there. The assist to Alex Buck. Kelsey Branson gets her second of the season. Assist to Jaden Holden Reed and defender Maya Loud. And then in the 30th minute, Lucy Newland gets one absolute strike of a ball right near the top of the 18-yard box. 3 goals in the first 30 minutes. Washington's able to lock it down. They probably could have had at least five, I thought, in this one, but they'll take that. Then we go to the last few matches for Washington. It's a 3-game road trip here. UC Irvine down in California, back on the 24th of August. Over at Seattle U on August 28th. I'll get this at Championship Field. No, it's not what I want. I'll pull it up. But they crosstown rivalry. They're not really on the road because it's still in Seattle. It's only a little bit away. Um, but that match is a derby match, and I will get that in a minute. And then they'll close out the road trip Sunday, the 31st, at Gonzaga at 1 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Then they come home and kind of don't really have a road homestand. They kind of do the alternating the rest of the way out. For the most part, they'll come back to play Utah on September 4th. I'm hoping to be out at that. I like those games. Um, Yeah, these last few ones have been tough for Washington. We go to these. Washington scored first in both of these matches. In this game against UC Irvine, Jaden Holden got her third. Jaden Holden red hot start the season. Um, and then with the assist to Samia Shell. So Samia Shell is just racking up the points in this one. Um, I won't lie, there were some chances in the second half that really sort of to scare me a little bit, but UT Irvine finally breaks through in the 86th minute. Mia Colombini, sorry. Um, it's just unfortunate this game that one was just kind of one that slipped through and tied it really late, and was pretty frustrating. So they split the points. It's not a loss, but it's not great. And then kind of a similar one at Seattle U in the WEC/101 Club Cup. Um, Kelsey Branson gets her third goal of the year. So Branson and Holden Reed start out red hot with the assist to Anna Menti, sister of Sally Menti, who played for the Rain tonight. And Laura Satina, talked about Laura. So Washington's ahead early, a header goal from Branson. Branson got the header from a header from Anna Menti, which is pretty cool. And then in the second half, it just felt like a lot of pushing and pressure from Seattle U. Uh, 13 shots for Washington in the first half, nine in the second half. So they dominated that. Maybe I don't know. It just felt like a lot of dangerous possession for Seattle U in the second half, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, excuse me, Seattle U finally broke through in the 89th minute. It was 57 seconds, so 3 seconds on the clock. Bella Bonnet scores, and so it's frustrating. But with this WEC/101 Club Cup, this is a trophy on the line. It is a legitimate trophy. Washington maintains control for a fifth consecutive year. So I guess that's nice. But I know that Washington will want to, um, take care of uh, these matches where they're ahead and they're holding on. um they'll want to put that away, get a second goal, or be able to kill the game off. So looking ahead for Washington, yeah, next match, before next episode, because we're going to try to normally do these on Wednesdays, is at Gonzaga, August 31st on Sunday with a 1 p.m. Pacific time start on ESPN Plus. So we go over here to the men's soccer team. The men's soccer team, they've not started the season out too well. It's interesting looking at the men's soccer program. They've had a lot of success in terms of churning out professionals lately. Seen a few of them in the semi-pro ranks around here, with Ballard FC, West Seattle Junction, Mid Lakes United. There's a lot of Huskies around the area in the USL League Two ranks. And obviously with the Sounders, with Kalani Kosrienzi, obviously you go back a little bit more, Christian Roldan. Um, so, um, let's see here. Oh yeah. Richie Amon's back. He's the player to watch for Washington, senior midfielder we saw with Ballard FC. Um, couple ones from the Big Ten that were named: Charlie Kosakov, Ballard FC; Richie Amon, Ballard FC; and Igor Akulov. Um, yes, Igor Akulov, defender. Uh, from Redmond, Washington. So that's pretty cool to see. Washington was picked to place fifth in the 11-team Big Ten Conference. They advanced to the second round of the NCAA tournament, just like the women's soccer team. Uh, Ended the season with a 4-3 record in Big Ten play, finishing fourth in the league with 15 points. Had Washington behind Indiana, Maryland, Ohio State, and UCLA, and just ahead of the Michigan schools in Michigan and Michigan State. In the offseason, head coach Jamie Clark, signed an extension at the University of Washington. He'll be here through the 2029 season, so they keep him here a long time. They see him go through his first season in the Big Ten. and the 11th NCAA tournament appearance in the last 14 years. They said, "Yep, let's do it. Let's keep you through 2029." So that's pretty cool. Um, mm, 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 mm. Couple of fresh faces. Goalkeeper Kenny Pierpoint. Midfielder slash forward Clarence Dolan. Defender Carter Gay. Midfielder Kevin Hernandez. Defender Zach Meyer. And midfielder Masato Bulele. All entered their first season on Montlake. And they got a transfer midfielder Cameron Cruz, a transfer from Grand Canyon University. Um, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, they mentioned that. Okay. Yeah, not the greatest start to the season for the men's soccer team. To be fair, they didn't have the easiest opponent to begin their season against number four Denver. They held on for a bit against number four Denver. It was pretty scoreless for a while. They didn't concede until the second half. They actually led the first half in shots. Um, with six, forced two saves from Denver, but not really able to make the most of those chances that they were able to get. Um, in the 48th minute, they concede Bryce Willoughby, and then 61st minute, Denver gets a second and Luke Schultz to really put the game away. They went down to Corvallis to play Oregon State for their second match, and they drop 1-2. They get on the scoreboard this time. Um, they concede in the 6th minute. Yeah, Fran Cortillo with a goal in the 6th minute for Oregon State, and then Paul Fecteau in the 44th minute to make it 2-0 right before half. Not great. Richie Amon does score in the 51st, unassisted, but Washington unable to get a second to equalize, and they drop it, start the season 0-2. They come back to play UC Davis for their home opener, and they play to a draw in this one, 1-1. This one, different than because the women's soccer team played CLU the same day that this was happening. A little different here for Washington. Washington, similar to the Denver match, they go to the first half scoreless. Right after the half, they concede. Zachary Knowles in the 54th minute gets a goal, but Washington is able to get the equalizer and split the draw in this one. 75th minute, Charlie Kozakov, his first of the season, assisted by Igor Akulikov. Nope, Igor Akulov and Zach Ramsey in this one. Washington really pressed in the second half. 7 shots in the second half for the Huskies. Two saves forced. No, wait. Two saves had to be made by UC Davis. Washington did have 10 corner kicks in the second half, 15 in total, which is pretty remarkable. So they were pushing, but they'll force the draw. They'll try to go for their first win of the season when they play UNLV at Husky Soccer Stadium on August 31st, Sunday, with a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. That one on Big N Plus. We'll wrap up our show here with the volleyball program. The volleyball program in their third season under head coach Leslie Gabriel. Season two for Washington in the Big Ten, obviously. Huskies did reach the NCAA tournament last fall after going 19-12 overall and 9-11 in the toughest conference in the nation for volleyball. Pretty remarkable. Many new faces for the volleyball program in this uh, 2025-26 season. Uh, yes, for the Huskies. So they'll really interested. I've, not the smartest guy when it comes to volleyball. I have a lot to learn, but will be interesting. I mentioned the new faces. There are some, significant pieces back from 2024. Kirsten Barton, Julia Hunt, Katie Wessels, Alexis Hari, Zoria Hurd coming back. Some newcomers, 6 newcomers in total, 2 senior transfers, and 4 freshmen. Transfers include Alexa Markley, who comes from reigning national champion Penn State, an outside hitter. Taylor Simpson, a 3-year starting setter from Colorado with over 3,000 career hits. Then we go to the freshman, Maya House, joined the team last spring. Simona Mateska from Serbia, the first international recruit UW has signed since Maria Bogomalova. Yep, in 2016. More freshmen, Addie Azaveda and Ava Joe Berry. back row specialist from the Pacific Northwest, Azaveda from Lake Oswego, Oregon, and Ava Jo Berry from Wenatchee, Washington. Azevedo, unfortunately, will miss the 2025 season rehabbing from knee surgery. Not great. Unfortunate there. Hoping, speedy recovery. We're able to be with the team or be around support because it is never easy to, go through one of those long sort of recoveries alone. That is brutal. So, excuse me. Look over here. For Washington. We'll be really interested to see how they're able to get through this one. They start the season with a trio of matches in Colorado. First one of the trio at Northern Colorado and Greeley, Colorado. A 2-3 loss. This was brutal, man. Following along with this one from the rain match I was at last night, and seeing how the match ended, not great. Washington got the first two sets 25-22 and the first 25-23, and then things flipped. 16-25, Northern Colorado takes the third. Tight one in the fourth. Colorado takes it 25-23, and then Northern Colorado takes it 16-14. You'll want to hear this. Washington couldn't put this one away. A straight up dig on the final point hit the speaker system and fell to the floor. Not a great start. Not ideal. Not um that is wild. Barton led in kills with 19. Markley led in aces with 3. Wessels led in blocks with 6. Taylor Simpson led in assists with 45. And Zoria Hurd led in digs with 13. So the Huskies will have a few matches before we get to our next episode, August 30th, today, Saturday, 5 o'clock Pacific time against Colorado State in Fort Collins. That one is on the Mountain West Network. If you go to the UF Athletics page and click on the schedule, you'll be able to see the link for that. And then August 31st, Sunday against Colgate in Greeley, Colorado at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That will be on YouTube, it seems. Oh, yep. No, no. Stop. I clicked on it and it took me there. So yeah, that is it for this episode of Woof Wednesdays. I hope you're happy to be back, happy to be doing this first episode in 3 years. So we'll be looking forward to getting back to that. I will end it off with a few chats that I had with the softball program. Was able to talk with head coach Heather Tarr and catcher Jaden Glab from the softball program in their off season, as we'll be doing softball stuff as well. So I'll leave you with that, with snippets from that, and you can watch the full interviews on our YouTube channel here. So until we see you next time, take care of yourselves, be well, and do whatever you can to make today a great day.
What excites you about this upcoming season? Is it? I'm sure you just want to get back out there. I don't know how much you appreciate the summers because it's beautiful, but also I'm sure you want to get back into the season and the grit and grind of that. So, what excites you most about 2025, 2026?
Yeah, for this year, I think just what's most exciting is just our build, like building on what we were able to do last year, and just seeing, just how much depth we're going to have to teach from, and that the athletes are going to actually have things to refer to when they're training. We kind of went in, somewhat blind. We didn't quite have, a lot of reference points to say this is why we're doing this. And I think passionately so, finishing at regionals on that Saturday and not getting, to the championship Sunday, it fuels a lot of people's fires. That's different than last year. And I'm just excited for us to, raise our expectations and, try to get back to the College World Series. It's our goal, and can't wait to get started here in a couple weeks.
What has your experience been like under Coach Tar?
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about, like, obviously her coaching ability and just how professional she is and her wins and such, but I just, like, as a human being, she's so awesome. Like, just seeing her personal life and, like, her cats and, like, just, like, I love her, and I love who she is when softball isn't involved, and I love who she is when softball is involved. So I think that's super important when it comes to a program, and especially a head coach, is just being able to understand that they're like human beings too. Because I think sometimes it can, when you see them on TV, you're like, oh, she looks so intimidating. But like, she's a human being and she's so awesome. And yeah, I truly wouldn't want to play for anybody else. And I've learned so much from her just as a person and also in the softball world. And I think just like continuing to do that, it's going to be so awesome. And she's taught me a lot about leadership as she's taken on, the leadership of Washington softball and trying to instill that in her players and in her coaches. So yeah, I'm just super grateful for that. I'm super grateful to continue to learn from her and hopefully squeeze all the knowledge out of her that I can in the next 2 years and maybe come back and learn some more.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, how about them Huskies?
Ooh, purple and gold, baby.
Yeah. When are you going to watch all those away games, though?
All those away games. There are a lot of them, and I was hoping to come to Rough and Tumble because this is the home of Circling Saddle Sports. If that's okay with you.
I think that's a great idea. Hope to see you all here.